Hi everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of Just Good Games. So today I will be doing a tier list on the 7th generation of games consoles games. So we're talking about the PlayStation 3, the Xbox 360 and the Nintendo Wii. So I'm really looking forward to this, as this was sort of, it's not the generation I would say I grew up in, but I think it's one of the first generations which I really got into gaming. Obviously before you had the Cube, the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox, and I was into gaming then, but this is when it really hit in, and we've got some of their best games, the best games of this generation. I'm going to be putting them into a tier list. This is obviously my opinion, so if your favourite game appears in like C, D or E, don't take it personally. Sometimes people have different experiences of different games. Before I crack on though, I just want to explain the tier list. So you obviously have not played, so there's some of them here I've not played. I'm not going to rank games which I haven't played. And then you have E, D, C, B, A and S, and that's really self-explanatory. But before we crack on, I would just like you to go down, hit that subscribe button please. We passed 500 a little while ago, and there's some popo now coming around my area, if you can hear that in the background. We got some police going around for some reason, that's odd. But as I was saying, go down, hit that subscribe button, get me closer to 600, as I've been stuck on like 509, 510, 511 for a while now. That's if you like the content, and give it a like. So we're going to crack on with Fallout New Vegas, and everyone says this is the best Fallout, and I actually sort of disagree there, as I sort of preferred 3. So if Fallout 3, I don't think Fallout 3 is on here. It might be. I haven't, like, I've looked it through them, obviously prepare, but I don't know them off by heart. And if Fallout 3 would probably be in an S tier for me, and I know a lot of people, as I say, put Fallout New Vegas above 3, but that's just not, it's just not. I played 3 to death and loved it, and I know I'll probably get a bit of jiff for this, but New Vegas doesn't go in S, it goes in A for me. It's still a very good game, but just doesn't do it to that next level for me. Next up we have Dark Souls, and although I didn't play it on these consoles necessarily, I have played the remastered version, and the first Dark Souls is probably my third or favourite of all the From games. I'm including like Sekiro and Bloodborne in this. So I would say again, Dark Souls, the original Dark Souls, is not maybe the heights of the rest of the Souls games, but it was still fantastic, and I think that gets in the A area. Rainbow Six Vegas 2, I had number 1, and I did play 2 as well, a bit briefly. I sort of had it and played it for a bit and never really got into it. And to be honest, this Rainbow Six Vegas number 1 I thought was very good, but this didn't really live up to the expectations. I'm actually going to put this in D, I think. I don't know if there's a lot of love for this game out there, I just didn't really enjoy it that much. Bioshock Infinite. Some people love it, some people think it's not as good as the other two. I really enjoyed this game, and I thought it was fantastic. A good, like, the location was good, the twist ending was quite fun. I'm going to say some spoiler alert for any of the games I talk about in, like, from get your words out, Louis. As I'm going to say a spoiler alert for alert, not alert. Oh, and the police are around again. It's all good. This video is going great. Bioshock Infinite, I can't say Infinite, is and obviously spoiler alert for any of these games, is not as good as the first two. I think it's probably better than 2, but again, this is very good, and I'm going to put it in that A tier. Rayman Legends, or is that Origins? No, it's Legends. I really like Legends. Legends was fun, superb, but not as maybe to the level of like Fallout, Demon Souls and Bioshock Infinite. It was a really fun return to the form for the platformer, and I think that sits in the B tier. I might move it down depending on how the B tier shapes up, but for the moment, definitely Rayman Legends in the B tier. See, I'm on form now, I'm getting my words out, this is great. So next up is Portal. Don't see a 2 there, so it's the first Portal. Portal 1 was not as good as Portal 2. Portal 2, if this is on here, which I don't think it is would be an S-class game because it's absolutely fantastic. Portal 1 is still very good, and I'm going to put that in the A area. Vampires, the orange box. Right, South Park, the Stick of Truth. Now this is a contentious one for me, as I bloody love South Park. I think it's absolutely fantastic, and this was a surprisingly good game. But Obviously the humour's there. It's like playing one big series or episode of South Park, and it's got some good RPG mechanics. But is it as good as some of the other games on this list? I'm going to stick it in B for the moment, but I could move that down depending on the game what goes on B. Maybe Rayman Legends and Stick of Truth might end up being in the C tier. But next we come on to our first Nintendo game, and it's Super Mario Bros. Wii, and it's a very good game. It's not as good as some of the other Mario games on the Wii, but was still fun, still a great return to that classic 2D style platforming of Mario. I had a lot of fun with that, and I think this is a B game as well. I don't think it's on the level of New Vegas, Dark Souls 1 or Infinite or Portal, but still good. X-Men Wolverines Origins is one of the best surprise package superhero games of all time. It's gory as hell and doesn't really follow the film that much, which, because it's an awful film, it was a surprise package. But in far as games go, I think this is going to get in the C tier, as it was enjoyable but still not to that level. Now this Mortal Kombat I have not played, so that's going to go straight into the not played area. Final Fantasy 13, arguably one of the worst Final Fantasy games. Funny enough, one of the first Final Fantasy games I ever played, and it was just okay. And I'm actually going to put this in the, I'm going to define the E grade as Final Fantasy 13. I know the sequels get a lot of love, they sort of got it together, but as a first experience of Final Fantasy, it put me off quite a bit. So there you go. Next up we have Crackdown. Crackdown was a really fun surprise package, really cool. Sort of a lot of people bought it because it had the Halo 3 beta on it, but then discovered that this was a fantastic free roaming game where you just obviously are a sort of, not a superpowers, but a jacked up, I would say, sort of enhanced policeman, super soldier, and it was fun and really enjoyable and had a load of freedom to it, and the narration was funny, and I think it's going to go into the top of the B tier. See, and this is, come on, go above Rayman. Well, we've got to move Rayman down. There we go, top of the B tier. See, this is why the B tier is a bit weird, as I think like Rayman, I'm going to move Rayman Legends and Stick of Truth. Because then no, we'll leave it for, I think we'll leave it for now. Right, so next up, Arkham Asylum. You know where this is going. Get up in that S tier. Oh, how good was this game? And again, another surprise. This was probably one of I think it's my favourite of the series. I really like City, and like Arkham Knight is good as well. But there's something about Asylum which is just, it was just such a surprise and such a joy to play. The only thing which let it down really was that last boss battle against Joker. But overall, just like, you wouldn't have like the new Spider-Man probably without this game, or a lot of the mechanics which were like in this game have been implemented across so many other games. The whole like triangle counter, circle, like punch, the X, dodge, and obviously and like square to like sort of stun, and it's just it was fantastic. And it's just Batman. It's Batman done so well, and you had Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill doing the voices again. Absolutely fantastic. There's no other place for that game besides S. Halo ODST. Sort of the red-headed stepchild of the, I'd say, like the initial Halo trilogy, without sort of like taking in Wars, and then then obviously the second trilogy, which is still yet to be completed with Infinite. Although I don't know if they're rebooting that there, I don't know. But I thought it was alright. I thought it was quite different. I thought it was enjoyable. It was just more Halo, and I was really into Halo at the time. And I think this just sits in the C area. Thought it was fun. This is Uncharted 3. Uncharted 3 is really good. Probably not as good as 2. It's whether and I think 2's on here. So it's whether I think they both deserve to go into the S tier. Or that's a spoiler for where I'm going to put Uncharted 2 if it comes up. Does it deserve to go in the S tier? I am going to put it in the S tier for now. Probably it's not the weaker of the Uncharted games, because the weakest Uncharted game on the PlayStation like main consoles is the first one. But out of like 2, 3 and 4, I would say the 3 is probably the worst out of them 3. But only just, but it still deserves to be on that S level. Next up we have Assassin's Creed 3, which if you've seen my Assassin's Creed tier list, you know I don't rate that highly, and it functions well and it was quite enjoyable. It closed out Desmond's story quite nicely, and it was just a bit boring at times, but it introduced some cool things to the series like the naval combat, and yeah, it's just alright for an Assassin's Creed game. It had a lot to live up to from the Ezio trilogy, and I think it done well, but not good enough. Next up, Red Dead Redemption. Oh, we know where this is going. Oh, it's one of my favourite games. No, I can't go. Get above even Batman. Red Dead. I think I actually prefer the Red Dead games to the GTA games ever so slightly. Just a little bit, because I like the cowboys. GTA is absolutely fantastic, and we've got some GTAs in here. And yeah, Red Dead, what can you say? It's like Rockstar doing cowboys. Obviously, you did have Red Dead Revolver before, but I think a lot of people didn't know about that. And it's just really good. It's Red Dead Redemption, for God's sake. You know, if you play games, you know what Red Dead Redemption is. You know how good it is. And I think 2's better than the first one, but number 1 was absolutely good. Riding into Mexico was one of my favourite bits. And then Undead Nightmare is one of the best bits of DLC ever. So Red Dead Redemption in that S tier. Next up we have Catherine, and although I haven't played the original Catherine, I've played Catherine Full Body, so I'm going to still do this, even though Catherine Full Body has some more stuff in it than the first Catherine does, but I know the differences, and this gets nicely into the B tier. It's a really fun game. It's weird, it's different, it's Atlas, and I love Atlas, so I'm a bit of an Atlas fanboy with Persona 5 and Catherine. I just think they do things differently. I think their games are unique, and I think they're interesting. I like a good, unique gaming experience. So that's all I'm going to say on that. God of War 3. Getting that S tier. Close out the original trilogy. If we were to rank the God of War games, number 3 would probably be, the newest one is obviously number 1, number 2 is probably second, then I think it goes number 3 and then number 1, and then you have all the spin-offs below that. But 3 is still absolutely fantastic. It's just mega, you know, every God of War game up to that point had just got bigger and bigger and bigger, 1 and 2 being on the PlayStation 2. Were obviously pushing that console to its limit, and then number 3 comes out on this gen and it looks amazing, it plays amazing, it's bigger and better. God of War 3 goes in the S tier. This is Tekken. I think it's Tekken 7, and I haven't played that. And you notice a theme here. I don't play a lot of beat 'em ups. I play some beat 'em ups, I don't play a lot of beat 'em ups. Devil May Cry 4. Enjoyable Devil May Cry game. Actually, my first Devil May Cry game, because I was a bit too young for them to start off with, and I thought this was enjoyable. Not mega. They probably had its problems, and it sort of obviously started the downfall of Devil May Cry 4. Then the remaster was still good, but obviously no one liked Dante. But then 5 just brought it back up again. So I'm gonna stick this in C. I think it was alright. I think, yeah, that's roughly the C level. I like where the C level is at the moment. Team Fortress 2, part of the Orange Box with Portal, with obviously all the Half-Lives. It was a fantastic online game, and I'm not a mega online game fan, but it gets in that A tier with Portal. Probably all the Orange Box might end up in that level, except maybe Half-Life 2 if that's on here. I think I've seen some version of Half-Life on here, whether it's episode 1 or episode 2, but we will see. Forza Horizon, didn't play Forza Horizon, played one of the newer ones, and I thought that was really good, but not played, so not going to do that. Uncharted 2. Oh, I wonder where I'm putting this, even said it. Get in S tier. Uncharted 2, still my favourite Uncharted to this day. Probably still my favourite Naughty Dog games to this day. Absolutely. It's just, they are just that opening in that train, and you just know it's going to be good. No, it's going to be fantastic. This is a Ratchet and Clank, and I can't tell you the subtitle under it, but I know I played all the Ratchet and Clanks on the PlayStation 3, and I believe I know what one it is, so I am going to do this. And this Ratchet and Clank is just so solid, and just gets into that B tier. It's just A. Oh no, it just Guys, what it says on the tin, there's not really been a bad Ratchet and Clank game, not that I can think of. It's all been pretty good, and I'm looking forward to the new one on the PlayStation 5. That is going to be unreal. So next up is a game which I should have played, I've heard so much about, and it was a really big surprise package, and it always appears on this. It's Spec Ops The Line. But I haven't played it, so I know a lot of people would probably put this in the AS area, but I haven't played it. And again, I haven't played Xenoblade as well, so, oh no, not in E, so we're going into that not played area. I have played most of these games, like you'll see, like it's probably only got to get 5, 6 or even 7 in the not plays, but you can't rank something you haven't played. Dead Rising 2, good follow up to the original first game. I like the first game, I like the second game. I think it gets, but I think it just gets in that C tier. It's just like, I was a fan of it, but it just didn't do as much for me as some zombie games. It was just fun, and it's just the mission structure probably did it for me a little bit. But there you go. Right, this is Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Smash Bros is fantastic. We all know what Smash Bros is. Getting that S tier. Oh, fantastic. Just, I think, what more can you say? It's Super Smash Bros. Every Super Smash Bros. Game of every generation gets in the S tier. It's doing the same thing over and over again, but it's just so enjoyable. And just seeing those characters just fight against each other and playing it with your mates is just really fun and really good. Halo Wars. I had Halo Wars. I'm not a big real-time strategy game, and as people will tell you, real-time strategy games should not be on consoles because it's just easier to play them on PC. And so for that, it's going to go in D. Oh, not C. It's going to go in D, because I think that's roughly where it should be, because it's not as good as any other games in C. It was quite enjoyable, not unlike Final Fantasy 13, which was just a bit boring and rubbish, and so D seems like the right place for it. Next up we have Mario Kart Wii, and to me, I've played this a lot, but I think it's actually one of the weaker Mario Kart games, and for that, I know this might be sacrilege, it only goes in A, not S. It's probably something about the Wii controls with it for me. I know you can change it and all that, but it's just, I did enjoy the Wii a lot, but a bit of fluff from my cats flying up everywhere. But no, it's not as good as some of the other ones. It wasn't as good as Double Dash, and I don't think it's as good as the latest one, so that's why it goes in A. Mass Effect 2, one of my favourite games of all time, one of the best games of all time, the best Mass Effect game. Just probably one of the best science fiction games of all time. This was an event when it came out. When I got this, I played this solidly through. The whole suicide mission, the whole concept of it all, the whole loyalty missions, and everything, upgrading your ship and everything played into that last mission and built into it, and all your decisions counted, and it was absolutely fantastic. It changed it from, like, number one is almost like a more proper RPG, and this one turned it almost into full action RPG. And you can get right up near the top of the S tier, because that is unbelievable. It's unbelievably good. This S tier is just something else at the moment. Vanquish, really good game, made by Platinum. I love Platinum. Doesn't get as much love, but it's been re-released recently, and it was cool, a bit short, and I just think it sits in nicely into the B tier. Really cool game. Did not play Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. This is one of the Dragon Ages. I played this one because I know it, because I know I had the cover. I thought it was enjoyable, but Dragon Age is really not my bag that much. And so I'm just going to safely stick this in C. I think there's some people who will think that should be higher, but not for me. So here we have Batman Arkham City. Arkham City, some people would argue, is better than Asylum. I don't personally agree with that, but it's still one of the best games of the generation and gets in that S tier. I liked the compactness of Asylum. I liked the more directness of the story, and obviously City, it's a natural progression, but for me just wasn't as good. I think the story wasn't as focused. Obviously it has the big twist at the end. It's a really good game and still deserves to be in the S tier, but is not as good as Asylum for me. Next we have the Revelations, Assassin's Creed Revelations, and it's a good Assassin's Creed game. And as you saw my Assassin's Creed tier list, which you should check out if you haven't, I really like this one, and I think this fits in better than 3, so by naturally it gets in the B tier but not in the A tier, because Assassin's Creed 2 will probably go into the A tier, not the S tier, but there we go. Mass Effect 3, this is a really tough one to judge, as the ending, as we all know, defined this game. But leading up to the ending, it was still a fantastic game. But how much do I penalise a lot of what came before? Because I really enjoyed what came before. I pretty much enjoyed everything which came up till you get with that little ghost boy at the end and you have to make your decision. And I always, like, with a lot of things, I think even if the ending's bad, sometimes you should still look at everything which came before. I know like a bad ending can leave like a bad taste in your mouth. It like happens with like the Game of Thrones. Like people like, obviously people knock the Game of Thrones Series 8 rightly, it wasn't as good as it should have been, but does that discount like how good it was all before, so up to Series 6? And this is a bit of a thing with Mass Effect. So even Mass Effect 3, I'm still going to put it in A, because it's still an absolutely fantastic game, still had some memorable moments, and was still, everything which built up to that ending was so good, so that's why it still goes in the A tier. Mario Galaxy, one of my favourite Mario games, one of the best games of all time, getting that S tier, has to be. The concept, I remember when I saw this, I was like, oh my god, it's like Nintendo just have these amazing ways of reinventing Mario and making him fresh, and Galaxy, so good. I don't know if Galaxy 2 is on here. It is on here, I can see it down the bottom, so that'll be going up there as well. But oh, it's just Galaxy, just the whole concept of it. Use the Wii really well, and Nintendo, no one does, like, obviously Sony in this generation and has got like his first party games together, but no one does a big first party game like Nintendo. Next we have our Battlefields. I never played Battlefields, but that goes in the not played. Next we have Infamous, and I really enjoyed Infamous. Sucker Punch, obviously I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima at the moment, Sucker Punch's latest game, and they're really good at making games, and I really enjoyed Infamous, and I think, yeah, I think Infamous gets to go on that B tier level, near the top as well, because I think it's good. I'm not going to rejig things yet, we might leave that to the end. So this is definitely Half-Life, and it's Half-Life 2, and it's either episode 1 or episode 2, I can't tell because of the cover, the writing's too small. But I like Half-Life. Do I like it as much as some people? No. But that's episode 2, so that's going to be episode 1. So this is episode 1, and I just think I'm going to sit it on that A level. It's really good. I really like Half-Life, but it's not in an S tier for me because it's just one of those series which just... If I played it now, I think I would love it more than if I played it back then, because they're like the mid-teens, like mid to late teens, it didn't click 100%. See, look, all the orange boxes pretty much on A, to be fair. Right, so we have Donkey Kong Country Returns, and that's a good, solid platforming game, and I think that's going to go on C. Not as good as some of the stuff in B, but it's going to go very high up C. Now we have the next Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, which I'm just going to stick next to Revelations. I don't think there's much between them games. They were very good. Brotherhood had the weird, like real-time strategy part of to it, but it's just continuing Ezio's story, and I just thought the Ezio trilogy is just really good. I can see Assassin's Creed 2 is down there as well, so we're going to get to find out where that goes. Star Wars Force Awakens. good Star Wars game. I remember getting this and being really excited for it, and it was really fun. And I like it's fun and good, but a bit short. But it definitely goes near the top of the C tier. Like it doesn't. I don't think it deserves to go into the B because I think the B quality is a bit better, but it's still a good game. Like C, the games in C are still good games. They're just not. They're just fun to play. They do a lot right, but they're just not as exciting as or as good as the tiers above it. But don't discount that C tier. It's when you get into that D and E tier, it's a bit weird. This is Black Ops 2. Didn't play Black Ops 2. Oh, that's gone weird. Oh, it's gone into E. Ah, there we go. Black Ops 2. Really enjoyed. As I said, I really enjoyed it. That's like a stock response for me. Really enjoyed it. No, I never played it, so there you go. Little Big Planet 2. Getting A for me. I love Little Big Planet, but I don't think like it's on the level of. It's a great exclusive, but not on the level of Uncharted, God of War, and the Batman games and Red Dead up there. But still a very good, very fun game. And Stackboy, I believe, is returning on the PlayStation 5, so I'm looking forward to that. And here we go again. Half-Life. I've spoke about Half-Life. Episode 2 will go next to Episode 1 in A. Well, the sun has just come right in the window then, so this is going to get a bit more difficult. But I believe the next one is Infamous 2. That goes on the exact same level as Infamous 1. Put it next to it so they're together. Expanded on it nicely. Didn't do enough to push it into the A tier. Grand Theft Auto 5. The biggest selling game of all time. One of the best games of all time. I've got to put that in the S tier. As I said, I prefer Red Dead to Grand Theft Auto. I prefer Red Dead Redemption 2 to Grand Theft Auto 5 if you take them on this generation personally. But I've played through Grand Theft Auto 5 twice and I absolutely love it. It's still a fantastic game. Next up we have Splinter Cell Conviction. Splinter Cell Conviction is... Was this the last Splinter Cell game? I think it is. So it was cool. It was not as good as some of the other Splinter Cell games, but it definitely, I am going to stick it on. I think it was quite short. I'm still in between B and C. I'll stick it on C. Now, I've not played this game. That goes in the not played. Last of Us. Get up. In that S tier. Yeah, what more can we say? Like, there's a reason that The Last of Us 2 was divisive game, is because everyone loves this game and everyone has an opinion on where it should have gone afterwards. And the reason for that is because The Last of Us 1 was so good and one of the games of the generation. And as I said, not my favourite Naughty Dog game. Uncharted 2 is definitely my favourite Naughty Dog game, but still one of the games of that generation. And Remastered is one of the games probably of this generation. Limbo again. Oh, Limbo's so good. Like, I don't play a lot of indie games, but I played Limbo and I played Inside, and they're just unbelievable. Very simple, very atmospheric, and not even like, but I would say good story, but there's not really story to it, but you sort of, story is implied through it, and it's just so fun, and the puzzles are quite difficult to find out. Limbo is just so atmospheric, so good. Love Limbo. Next up we have Call of Duty World of War, and I quite enjoyed this Call of Duty. It was still when I was into Call of Duty quite a bit, so I think we're going to go in the C tier for this. It was a really enjoyable one. Wii Sports, great tech demo, but getting E. Fun to play with people, but it's not really a proper game, is it? That's what I'm going to give you. Yeah, it's a great demo for what the Wii can do, and once you play tennis with your family 20 times, it doesn't really add anything to it. Gears of War 3, very good. Good at closing out the original trilogy. I was a massive fan of Gears. That deserves to be an 8. I think I was a really big fan of the Gears series, the original trilogy. Just so fun, just so it's big men shooting guns, but done really well, and it's quite emotional when Dom's sacrificing 3. Oh, that got you with mad well playing. Really fantastic game, enjoyable. Shame what's happened to Gears. Just Microsoft, unfortunately, they should have stopped Halo and Gears at their original trilogies. I know we wouldn't have got Halo Reach technically if we did that, but you know what I mean. They shouldn't have tried to do a second trilogy, or their second trilogy should have been like really disconnected instead of actually including characters from the first games. But there you go, that's my opinion on that. But still, Gears 3 is absolutely fantastic, and people are going to be saying, "Oh, is Gears 3 on the level of Half-Life and like Portal and that?" But it's just taste, and it's just like good. Some of these might move up. Like I am considering moving Half-Life up into S, or maybe Portal up into S. But I think that's the right level. Like Half-Life Episode 1 and 2 are the episodes. It's not proper Half-Life 2. LA Noire. I really enjoyed this game when it came out. Stock response. And I think it's one of Rockstar's most underrated games. I've replayed it actually within the last year on the updated version on the PlayStation 4, and it's really fun and really different from Rockstar, and I definitely think it deserves to be in the B level easily. Skyrim. I enjoy Skyrim a lot. Do I love it as much as some people love it? No, I don't. I really prefer Fallout to the Elder Scrolls. For some reason, that's just how I am. And so, I know a lot of people would put this on the S tier. I know a lot of people would put it there. But for me, it's top of the A tier. And that's really just personal taste. I really enjoy, but it didn't engage me as much. And I like open world games, but I'm not someone who like tiddles around in an open world, who like just sort of like mucks around and goes and kills stuff. I don't even do it in Grand Theft Auto. I like doing side missions, I like doing main missions, I like a good story within an open world, I like it if you have lots of collectibles and stuff. But I know a lot of people will just go around and just do random stuff in this, and that's just not how I really play. So that's probably why Skyrim loses a bit for me. But there we go. Resident Evil 5 gonna get in at D tier. Tell you for why, because a lot of people didn't like the story is just Resident Evil. It's the start of the decline of Resident Evil. It obviously had to follow on from 4. A lot of people hate this because of the AI. But me and my brother played this co-op, and playing it with a second person makes it a lot better. So that's why it doesn't go into that E tier. The original Mass Effect go into that A tier alongside number 3. That's about right. It's not in the S tier, but it's the one we started it. A bit more RPG based, a bit more, RPG based. But you could talk your way out of things. You can even get the last boss to kill himself at the end if you're good enough. I did that, but then you still had to fight something else. But it was still really good, and it started off a really promising and good trilogy. Left 4 Dead. Played Left 4 Dead, found it enjoyable. Not a massive online person, so for me, Left 4 Dead just goes into C. It's really not my bag. Really not my bag. I've not played Demon Souls, but I will be playing the remake for PlayStation 5. Street Fighter 4. I have played this beat 'em up game, and I really like this beat 'em up game. It's probably one of my favourite beat 'em up games of all time, and it easily gets in the top of B. It was fun. It was difficult. I like Street Fighter. Out of the core beat 'em ups, like obviously Tekken, Virtual Fighter, Street Fighter, and the other one, Mortal Kombat, I prefer Street Fighter out of all of them, and that's why it's getting in the B tier, and that's why I actually owned it. Rock Band was cool. Probably better than Guitar Hero, or was better than Guitar Hero. And it was part of that bad, and I'm of the rhythm games, and I'm just going to put it in C because it was fun at the time, but would I want to play it now? Probably not. Dragon Age 2. I played Dragon Age 2. This is, I believe, the first remake of the Tomb Raider, the reboot of the Tomb Raider series. Really good, very surprising. They honestly just made it like Uncharted. They looked Uncharted, because obviously everyone said Uncharted was like Tomb Raider, but with bloke. And then it's sort of like the roles are sort of swapped now, and I'm just going to put that, it's a B game. Definitely a B game. Halo Reach. Halo Reach is good Halo. One of my favourite Halos. Being disconnected from the main trilogy was quite cool. Seeing how the Spartan team sort of full of Reach and everything else, Spartan team died, and that was fantastic. That's going in. Reach is going to go in A or B. If I put Gears in A, I've got to put Reach in A. Borderlands. The first Borderlands, when this was all fresh and new, was fantastic, and like 2 was the peak, and 3's okay, still good. So I'm gonna put Borderlands in A. I thought the first Borderlands, because of like there was nothing else really like it to me. I'd not played anything else like it at the time, so I thought this was really enjoyable. Not played Battlefield 3. Dead Space. Not a big horror fan. Don't play a lot of horror like games outside Resident Evil, but I did get Dead Space. Did play it. Really, really good game. Really, really jump scary, atmospheric, fun. Until EA ruined it with like the third one. 2 was alright, but this gets in A. It's a very good game. Far Cry 3. Again, when you think Far Cry now, you think, it's just doing the same thing over and over again. Although 6 has a bit of promise, like sort of 5 and 4 were good-ish. The spin-offs were okay, but 3 was peak Far Cry and really enjoyable, and for that it gets in the A tier. Bass is a great villain. Obviously he wasn't in it enough, but that Far Cry formula, the Ubisoft formula, was not boring at that point. It was still really good. I'm not going to judge it now from the later games, which are pretty much the exact same thing. They ain't really progressed. Far Cry 3 at the time was really, really good. Call of Duty Black Ops, one of my favourite Call of Duties. Where have I put the other Call of Duty? World of War. Well, it's a step above that. It's in B. If I was gonna, just really fun, nice twist. Yeah, just a really it's just before the decline. It's just before the decline of the Call of Duties. It's probably one of the last ones I played. Good Call of Duty. Next you have Gears 2. I think it's better than 3, but that doesn't mean it gets in the S tier. It just means these are not in order, because I'm not gonna put. I might put the S tier in order at the end, but I can't. It would take me ages to put them in order. So don't always put Gears above Team Fortress and Half-Life. It's not the case. Cool. Assassin's Creed 2. That can get in. Where have I put Revel? Yeah, that can get in the A tier. Probably the best Assassin's Creed besides Black Flag, and the newer 2 I really enjoy as well, but they're not on that level. But yeah, really enjoyable. Enjoyable is my go-to phrase on this video, apparently. But Assassin's Creed 2 just improves upon the original by so much. Ubisoft were quite good at taking criticism from the first games in their series and making second game really, really good. It happened with Watch Dogs. I'm actually quite a big fan of Watch Dogs 2. I thought they took the criticisms of the first one and actually made it a really good, fun game. And I feel the same about Assassin's Creed 2. They just they took all the criticism and actually made a decent game out of it. Next we have Metroid, and I did play Metroid, but I didn't finish it. I'm tempted to put it in not played, because I think it'll do a disservice. I didn't finish it. I'm not going to judge it, because I could put it in like A or B, but it could be an S game, but I didn't finish it. Metal Gear Solid 4. Oh yes. Everyone, if you know, everyone knows I'm a fan of Metal Gears, and that gets up there. That's one of my favourite games of all time. I know it's a lot of cutscenes. I know it's like almost peak Kojima, but that brought the main series to a close and was just absolutely amazing. And it's not the best Metal Gear Solid game, but it's the only Metal Gear Solid game of this generation. So it's the best Metal Gear, so it goes in S. It's just Metal Gear, and I'm a massive Kojima fan. I'm a Kojima fanboy. So there you go, call me out on that. Bayonetta, really, really good. Platinum Games doing what they do so well. Better than Vanquish, gets in A. Just like, I think it's a game which really put Platinum on the map. Platinum obviously I think done Vanquish before, but it was more of like a sort of sleeper hit where Bayonetta was the coming out party for Platinum, and people are like, oh my god, this is a really good studio, and they've just gone on from strength to strength. But Bayonetta showed them the way, showed everyone the way. The Platinum are a really good studio. Braid, really, really good. Actually getting that S tier. There's not a lot of games like Braid anymore. Like and it falls in the same category as Limbo. It's just 2D platforming with a nice twist on it. The like time and the twist at the end, it's just really good. I actually had that on my Mac. Played it on my Mac, but I'm still counting it in this. Next we have Metal. Oh, it's not the only Metal Gear, because we have Metal Gear Rising, Revengeance, and again, this is Platinum doing really well. And I'm going to put this in A actually, because I thought this was fantastic. A bit short, but oh my god, playing as Raiden in that game and all the mechanics, it looked great. The like chopping mechanic was really cool. Great story, and I know people are going to think, oh, you put that above some really good titles, but as I said, I love Metal Gear, and even Metal Gear Rising was it's I wish I could play it again now thinking about it. It's a really good game. We have another Ratchet and Clank, and I'm going to put that just level. Where'd I put the other Ratchet and Clank? Level with the other Ratchet and Clank. On B. No More Heroes. Oh, No More Heroes. Like, I'm a massive fan of No More Heroes. I can't wait for 3, and that gets in S. Such style. Suda51 is such a great, like, gaming genius. Really weird, strange games, but amazing games. And I just love the concept of it. The assassins, the top 10 assassins, and 2 was even better for me personally. And I know, again, this is my personal taste, and again, I just love it. It's so weird, it's so strange, it's fantastic. Next we have Little Big Planet. Goes on the same level as Little Big Planet 2. I've not played this Wario game. Oh, that's going in there. So, okay, I now need to. Hopefully, this won't mess it up to zoom out a bit. That's fine. Right, Portal 2. Yes. S tier. Portal 2 is one of the best games of all time. Unbelievably good. The humour, the puzzles, the story. It just took everything which Portal 1 did so well and just made it better. Viva Pinata. Really like the Viva Pinata games, but it's just a C-level game. I put a lot of time into it, and I thought it was really fun. We could do with a new one, Microsoft. That might be quite fun actually to have on the Series S. But there you go. I really like it. I really like. There's not many good sort of games like that nowadays, I suppose, and it's just they forgot. It's an underrated gem, I think, of this era. Left 4 Dead 2 is as good as Left 4 Dead. No, a bit better than Left 4 Dead 1, so that's why it's going to go into B. The first Uncharted game is on B level. Set the foundation, but is no way as good as what came afterwards, and even drops down a tier just because you can tell what they wanted to do, but they didn't implement it as well. Now, as you might know on this channel, is I'm not a big fan of driving games, but Burnout Paradise is still fantastic. It's one of the best driving games of all time. Easily. I love Burnout Paradise. The tunes, the soundtrack of it came quite late in the generation. It's been re-released on this generation. It's just really, really good. A really fun sandbox driving game, which probably inspired a bit of Forza Horizon. First Gears. Getting the A as well. All the 3 Gears, the original trilogy of the Gears, it's just so good. So good. They all deserve to be on that A level. Like, I got the first Gears for Christmas, and I got it pretty much on the back of that advert playing Mad Worlds. It's just, oh my god, I remember that. And it's just like, obviously it was the one which sort of implemented that cover style mechanics, and it sort of is it set the foundation for a lot of what would come afterwards. So it's quite a pioneer in that respect. Rayman Origins is where have I put Legends. I'm just going to put that next to Legends. They sort of, just Legends is just the sort of same concept but a bit bigger, so I think they deserve to be on the same level. Not played that. Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts is not what anyone wanted. It was an alright concept, but that's going to get in that D here, unfortunately. Zelda Twilight Princess is one of some people don't like this Zelda game as much. I really liked it. And I think it deserves to be in that S tier. I think some people put it in the A tier, but it's actually one of my favourite Zeldas. It's dark and it's cool. I'm not saying I like dark is cooler, because my favourite Zelda is pretty much Wind Waker. I absolutely love it. But I just think Twilight Princess was really good. And a great way to like... I think it's an underrated Zelda game, personally. I like the story. Obviously, Zant at the end is sort of ousted by Ganondorf, but we always knew Ganondorf was going to show up. And next up, we have Batman Arkham Origins, which is not as good as the first two, but I think it's a pretty good game, and I think it's going to sit on that B level. I think it's I think it's an underrated game. I played Origins and was pleasantly surprised. So what? It's not made by Rocksteady. So what if they've discounted it? It had some of the best boss battles in the entire series, and they were really good. Like the Deathstroke boss battle was fantastic. Next up, Galaxy 2. Getting that S tier. What more can I say? Just more Mario Galaxy, and probably better than Galaxy 1. Oblivion. I'm just going to put that on the same level as Skyrim, so we avoid any up there. As I said, I prefer the Fallout games personally, and we got Fallout 3 coming up. So we'll see where I put that. Alan Wake. I like Alan Wake a lot. I thought it was good, and obviously they would Remedy. I think it's Remedy who do it. Would go on to make Control, which is one of my favourite games of this generation. And I think Alan Wake deserves to be on that B level. Not everything worked, but it was still fun. The torch concept was really good, and it was just like a nice thriller sort of game. Next we have Minecraft. I've not played Minecraft. I don't think I ever will play Minecraft, so that's not played. This next one I'm going to try and squint is Ultimate Marvel. I haven't played that. Right, next up we have the best Call of Duty game of all time. Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare. Without a doubt, it is the best Call of Duty game. But do I stick it on A or do I stick it on S? And this is because of personal taste. I'm going to stick it on A. I don't think it's as good. It revolutionised the first person shooter genre. Yes, it did. But am I a mega fan of the first person shooter genre? I was at the time. Am I now? Probably not as much. But I appreciate how good it was. I would go and play that again now. I can play that again now. Modern Warfare 2 I can play again now. But is it as good? I don't think it's on the level. Or maybe it is. It is. It's a Pioneer. Pioneer. It's going on S. Journey. I don't like Journey as much as some people. I think it's a fantastic game. I think it's atmospheric. And I think it's... I just look at it and it's just great, but I don't think it's like, as far as indie games go, I think Limbo's a million times better, and even Inside, and I'm going to put it in A, and this is probably sacrilege to some people as well. But I don't think it's, again, this is just personal taste. I really enjoyed it, but I don't put it on as high a pedestal as some people do it. What's the new one? There's a new game which is a bit like Journey, which I think is a million, or not a million times better, but I think is a bit better of it, and it's that one which I played on Twitch, and it'll come to me as soon as I finish this video. It'll come to me, but I came out recently. It's like the one with the colours and everything. It begins with R, but no, I'll never do it. I don't know what Tales of Lyra. Didn't play that. Our Hero 3. I'm just below Rock Band. I'm going to put it on the level of Rock Band because of the fact it's like that fads of the rhythm games. Call of Duty Ghosts can get in the E tier. Not good. One of the worst Call of Duty games. The Walking Dead by Telltale. I really enjoyed this. This is the first series, the best series. That gets in B. Telltale haven't really evolved since that much, and obviously don't exist anymore, but that's the top Telltale besides The Wolf Among Us, I think. Deus Ex. I played this one, I can't think which one it is, but I know I played the one on this generation, and I thought it was really good. And I think that deserves to be in the B tier. Some people probably put in A or S, but not for me. This is Witcher 2. I never played The Witcher 2. I believe this is Dead Rising. Or is it? Can't really see from that because I've zoomed out. But if it's Dead Rising, then it goes on the same level as the second one. It is Dead Rising, yeah, so that's on the level of C. Looking at me, people looking at me like staring at the screen. Right, Fable 2, very weird, very hard to place because I really enjoyed the Fables at the time. But I think Fable 2, I can't stick it any higher than C. No, I can, because I really like Fable, and even though Peter Molyneux promised the world, we didn't get it, but what we got I thought was really enjoyable, really fun for what it was. So yeah, I think it's better than anything on the C tier, really. Possibly, but there you go. I think that's its rough place. Resident Evil 6 can get down in that A tier, the worst Resident Evil game, especially the main one. Fallout 3, my favourite Bethesda game. I've played this game to death, and I know a lot of people think, oh, New Vegas is better. I prefer number 3, and number 3 gets in that S tier. Played it to death, had all the DLC, had everything. Borderlands 2, as I said, it got better, and I'm going to stick that in A. Definitely, I'm just going to move this up a tiny bit because I've not got far to go. Metro, never played it. That the first Bioshock, I believe that's the first Bioshock. If it's the first Bioshock, that's got to get in the S tier. If it's Bioshock 2, I apologise, but I'm calling that Bioshock 1. One of the games of generation, that twist. We all know about Bioshock. It's amazing. Dead Space 2. He's in the A tier because I think it was as good as Dead Space 1. Grand Theft Auto 4. In retrospect, not as good as Grand Theft Auto 5. People gave it good reviews, but I think it should be in the A tier, not the S tier. It's probably one of the weakest Grand Theft Auto games. Right, so we're going to end with a flurry of not played. Not played, but would have liked to have played. Not played because it's racing. And if this is just general Pac-Man, then I'm just going to stick it in C. And then we finish with Halo 3, which is probably my favourite shooter of on time. The shooter which I put the most time into online. And in all honesty, gets in the A tier. Brilliant. Not in the S tier. But there you go. So here we have it. We have reached the end of the video. It's a long video, but thank you for sticking with it if you reached the end. If you didn't and got off after one of the decisions I made and you think, no way, and just slammed your laptop down or phone down and went, no, I'm not watching this anymore, then there you go. But this is what my opinion of it is. I'm not going to go through all the games, but what I am going to do is I'm going to talk you through the S tier, because the S tier is the god tier for me of this generation, and it is. I truly believe it is. Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots, Red Dead Redemption, Mass Effect 2, Batman, Arkham Asylum, The Last of Us, Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, God of War 3, Fallout 3, Super Smash Bros. Brawl, Batman Arkham City, Super Mario Galaxy, Grand Theft Auto 5, Limbo, Braid, No More Heroes, Portal 2, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, Super Mario Galaxy 2, Call of Duty 4 and Bioshock. That is a great S tier. That is the best, definitely the best of that generation. Some of the A tier, in your opinions, probably will be moved up. But there you go. So thank you for making it to the end. All I need you to do is hit that subscribe now if you've enjoyed this. Like, share, and obviously follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, you know, comment, just engage. I will comment back to you. And once again, you have been watching Just Good Games. Also look out for some streams coming up soon.